Hello there, it's one day make today, our usual monthly thing right now. I liked the previous one so much that why not, let's do another one. Less distractions, less procrastinations. I've cleaned the studio more or less. So let's do it. Today we are doing an 1830s walking dress in this lovely silk. So we have quite a lot of that. Will be enough for a few gowns, I think. So that's 1830s dress, as my followers voted. Some organdy for interlining, cotton for lining, and my pattern. It's about 10 o'clock now. I've overslept. So let's start and see if I can make it. So it's 11 o'clock and I broke my recording clump, so I had to improvise with my mic stand, but I can keep on filming. In other news, I have cut up everything, so I just need to overlock all the pieces. I'm using modern techniques because it's a stock dress, so it has to be kept reasonably cheap for people to be able to afford it, and we'll see how it goes. People were asking what I do with all of those scraps that are sort of basically left over. There are bigger pieces and smaller pieces. Bigger pieces I can use for bias binding or piping, which I actually cut out as well. But most of it I just pack in different parcels, and I have a beehive of quilters and other people who make use of them. So I just send it to the people at the price of postage to do quilts or to make little purses or whatever is suitable. I have a few people in the reenactment, so they use the bigger scraps for sleeves or purses or belts. And then loads of silk, linen and wool goes to the quilters, so minimum waste, hopefully. Very tiny, very tiny bits, like for example this one from my overlocker. Let's have a look. These bits are basically used for filling out bustle pads or provide some padding. Perfect for it, really. So let's reposition the camera and do some overlocking and then put it all together. Okay, everything's overlocked. As you have noticed possibly at cutting out stage, the sleeves are partially lined in very stiff cotton organdy, and that in itself will add a little bit more poof to the sleeve. Even though the sleeve support will still be worn, it actually provides quite a lot of shape, but I don't really want it at the cuff too stiff. So all of it's overlocked and I just need to assemble it. Repositioning the camera. 11 o'clock and I broke my recording clump, so I had to improvise with my mic stand, but I can keep on filming. In other news, I have cut up everything, so I just need to overlock all the pieces. I'm using modern techniques because it's a stock dress, so it has to be kept reasonably cheap for people to be able to afford it, and we'll see how it goes. People were asking what I do with all of those scraps that are sort of basically left over. There are bigger pieces and smaller pieces. Bigger pieces I can use for bias binding or piping, which I actually cut out as well. But most of it I just pack in different parcels, and I have a beehive of quilters and other people who make use of them. So I just send it to the people at the price of postage to do quilts or to make little purses or whatever is suitable. I have a few people in the reenactment, so they use the bigger scraps for sleeves or purses or belts, and then loads of silk, linen and wool goes to the quilter, so minimum waste, hopefully. Very tiny, very tiny bits, like for example this one from my overlocker. Let's have a look. These bits are basically used. Right, it's about 12 and we have a bodice. A bit frustrating trying to match all of these bits, but hey, managed on the third go. So let us try it on. It's supposed to be about a size bigger than I want it to, than my own size. So let's put my resident corset on. It's not the 30s style. I don't have it in a workshop, but it will give me the necessary shape. And I'm not going to wait to lace it a lot, just enough so that I am a size bigger. Okay, so far so good. And I have enough overlap at the back. I think we're good. I might round it a little bit more. Apart from that, the back usually closes with hooks and eyes, so there has to be an overlap. And the nice big overlap means that as a stock dress, the size can be regulated a little bit. So yeah, we have a bodice. I will need to create some piping now and pipe the edges at the sleeves, possibly pipe the cups first, and the skirt. So let's do some piping. I gathered, and obviously you can do it on a long stitch in the normal machine, or you can do it by hand, or you can cut the pleat. I just used a ruffler, and it produces a really nice stitch and different lengths, and that's a ruffler. Great time saver. There you go. These are available as attachments to most machines. I'm using Janome, but they've been around since I think beginning of 20th century. Very useful. Right, so all I need to do now is to make the sleeves and insert them into the bodice. And after that, I think there might be a short lunch break because I've been sitting around for quite some time. And after lunch, we'll tackle the skirts. Let's get on with it. So I've got the bodice with big sleeves. The back has eyelets prepared. There you go, on the machine as well. And I just need to hand stitch the piping to the neckline, hand stitch the piping to the cuffs, and add hooks and eyes, and add hooks on the other side of the bodice, and then prepare the skirt and stitch the skirt to the piping, and then prepare the piping up. But I think a short lunch break, I've got some broth to drink and some Tai Chi exercises to do. I'm going to do a time lapse of the exercises as well, and if you want to try them, they're available on Raising Crane online academy for free. See you after lunch. Lunch over. Time to tackle the skirt. Skirts in the 30s are pretty simple pattern-wise. Yes, they can be embellished with flounces and lots of other stuff, but your pattern basically is a huge rectangle. So that's about 5 meters of fabric that's going to be pleated to the waistband. Now, because it's a rectangle and because the fabric width is perfect, not sure if I can see you, but I'm just going to utilize the selvages. So at the upper part, the selvage is going to be pressed in, and that, there you go, pressed in, and that will form the pleats later, whereas the bottom will have a deep hem, and again that's going to be pressed and hand stitched to provide a nice folded hem. It also means that it's easy to regulate the length. So let's press it first. Right, it's 10 to 3, there you go, 10 to 3. And all the skirt is hemmed. I just need to pleat it and put into the bodice. And the bodice has the hooks done. And the piping is secured. So not much left. I might have time to make a little ballerina as well. Let's pleat the thing first. I thought I'd give you a bit more information about what I'm doing now. I'm pleating the skirt to the bodice. Now normally it takes about 3 times the yardage of the waistband or bodice to pleat it into it, so it's a little bit more here. and you can perform calculations on how deep the pleat should be, but I'm horrible at maths, so I'm just doing as I go really, and just checking if it works. I wanted to keep the waist dark, and checked fabric really helps with quite equal distribution of the pleats. So as you can see here, I'm basically just folding so only the darker bits are visible. The middle is left plain, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4 pleats in one direction, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 4 pleats in the other direction. So that, after adjusting in and out, should give us a little bit nice effect. That one pleat here, one box pleat, is quite typical of the era. So yeah, you don't have to be a wizard in maths. It possibly means that I spend more time adjusting pleats as I go, but I just hate maths. Right, let's do the next part. It's going to be much faster and easy because I already worked out how deep my pleat should be, so it shouldn't be too difficult. That's my pleat one, and you can see this one here. The effects here can be varied. You can do much narrower pleats and have nice stripes of both darker and lighter fabric. I kind of rather like the dark. One more. Well, it's 3:30 and the dress is sort of basically ready. Look at the dress. So I have a piped waistband, there you go. All inserted. I'm going to make a belt, and I think I'm going to make a little pelerine as well. Ta-da! Happy days. Well, it's 4:20 and I'm almost done, I think. I don't have undergarments for the dummy, but let's put it on and see how it looks. And there is also a pelerine. Well, just as well it's early because I just realised I stitched the fringe on the left side on the pelerine and not for the right one, so it's going to be redone. Oh well. I might also prepare a little ribbon to decorate the hat. I'm not going to make a new hat. I'm not very good at hats. But a matching ribbon in that silk might actually work. Let me give you a bit of a closer look. I couldn't face undoing the fringe again, so I'm going to just cover up the seam outside with braid. Actually, it will look a bit nicer. I'm going to have a look at some nice locations and have a shoot later on. Possibly not today because the weather's rather crap, but over the weekend let's do some nice shoot and see how it looks being worn. Hope you enjoyed it. Well, that's yesterday's one day make with a better weather today and definitely better environment. So this is a stock garment, and it's nice. At least the size are too big for me, but it sort of fits. And it took me about 6.5 hours of non-stop work. And again, put the phone aside, no Facebook, no Instagram, and actually you get to make quite a lot of stuff. So I'll be doing that again next month. And this one is going to shop shortly, I think. Yeah. A bit of an eyesore.